Welcome to Pickering II. This was an industrial Imperial planet. However, as of late, the occupants of this planet have become jaded with the Imperium and have found themselves some new gods to worship. And unfortunately, this is a key planet for the Imperium in the sector, and the resources need to be maintained. So over on the right hand side will represent the industrial complex, which is currently being occupied by a besieged force of Renegades and Heretics, ex-workers on PDF that have turned from the Imperium. In the centre we will find makeshift Imperial defences trying to keep the chaos and traitor forces in the besieged city and prevent their escape. However, the Renegades and the traitor PDF are not alone. Over on the left hand side there will be a force of Chaos Space Marines. Word bearers have come down. They've made planetfall and they are going in to reinforce the besieged Renegades and Heretics. So they are going to have to make their way through the centre, through the Imperial forces, into the city. We will also have elements of the Renegades and Heretics, the rebel PDF, trying to leave the besieged city to spread the word of this atrocity and join up with their word bearer allies. It'll be down to the loyal forces of the Ultramarines in the centre to hold back both tides. We will have a game of 1,000 points of Ultramarines against 1,500 points of Chaos. Once again, the Imperial forces have to prevent the Renegade and Heretic traitor PDF forces leaving the city, and also prevent the word bearer forces entering the city and reinforcing the besieged forces there. So that is the story behind the game. Let's go and have a look at the forces that are coming today. Right, so here we are with Matt's 1,000 points of Ultramarines holding the line against the Chaos forces. So, Matt, if we start at the front here with your warlord, the chaplain.
Yes, indeed, yes, chaplain. And next to him, then we've got the lieutenant, who has the burning blade.
Yep.
On the side there, we have a 5-man unit of infiltrators, as they are.
Yep, and then
across the side there, there's a squad of tactical marines with a plasma gun.
Very nice. And then behind here, what do we have here?
We have one squad of intercessors with a grenade launcher.
Yep.
We have a unit of assault intercessors.
Very nice.
And then another unit of intercessors, just bolt rifles on those guys.
Very nice. And behind there?
And then we have 2 squads of devastators, both with 2 missile launchers and 2 las cannons.
Very nice. Very nice. And how many command points do you have?
I have 6.
Very good. Let's have a look at the Chaos forces. And here we are with my Chaos forces today. So it's split into 2 armies. Over on the left hand side here we have the word bearers. Over on the right hand side we have got the occupants of the industrial area. We've got the Renegades and Heretics. So we're going to go through the Renegades and Heretics first. Down here we've got 2 Renegade commanders, both with plasma pistols. One on the left's got a power sword. We then have 3 squads of Renegade militia. There's 1 special weapon each, which is a grenade launcher. We have a command squad over here with a plasma gun. We also got a heavy bolter. We have got 3 plague ogrins there. We then have a beast handler with 5 hounds there, so that could be quite interesting if they live long enough. And over on the left hand side over here we've got 2 Chaos Rhinos at the back with havoc launchers. We have 2 big squads of 20 cultists. The one on the right here have combat weapons and auto pistols. Over on the left hand side we've got auto guns. Then in front of them we have 7 Plague Marines with a plasma pistol on the champion and 2 plasma guns there. Over on the right hand side we've got 10 Chaos Space Marines, plasma pistol on the champion with a chain axe. We also have a plasma gun and we've got an auto cannon there. In front of them we have an exalted champion with a power fist and combi bolter. And then leading the force, leading the word bearer relief force, is a Stark Apostle with 2 disciples. His prayers are Benediction of Darkness and Illusionary Supplication. He also has the corrupted Crozius, and his warlord trait I cannot remember off the top of my head. However, it is one where he regenerates wounds and has an additional wound chucked in there as well. So that is my force. It's 1,500 points of chaos going up against the Imperial defenders. Now let's have a look at deployment and the mission. Right, so both sides have now deployed. Over on this side here, we've got the word bearer force. So in this rhino here, we have a squad of Plague Marines and the Exalted Champion. We then have 2 squads of cultists. We have the Dark Apostle down here with his little disciples. In this one here, we've got the standard 10 Chaos Space Marines. Moving over to the centre, we'll find the Ultramarines fortified in the middle here. So we've got a squad of intercessors down here with the chaplain. In this bastion there's a devastator squad. We've got some infiltrators lurking up here at the moment. Across we have a assault intercessors, normal intercessors down there, another devastator squad, and up in this building a tactical squad. So in the buildings we're using that as a -1 to hit, as well as being behind the barricades. If you're in one of the bastions, it's +1 to your armour save, and that is pretty much the rules for the terrain. Similar case over here, behind these pipes, it's a -1 to hit, and up here is -1 as well. So on the Renegade side, we have a squad of militia down here. We've got the command squad, popped up their heavy bolter up here with a plasma. We've got another squad down here with 2 Renegade commanders, another squad, and then over here we've got the Ogrins and the Beast Handlers. So the objective is the Renegades have to get through the Ultramarines and onto this side of the battlefield. The word bearers have to get through the Ultramarines and to this side of the battlefield. So once they get to the other side, their opposing side, we will get 10 victory points. Also, there are kill points in. So for killing off these Ultramarines, each squad's worth 2 points. And for the Ultramarines, they have to hold these bastions. At the end of the game, they're holding the bastions, they get 10 points per bastion, and also they've got kill points as well. So for each chaos unit that falls, they will get 2 points. Hopefully that will kind of make sense to you. Right, so we're having a dice off to see if the Chaos Forces can launch a surprise attack, or the Ultramarines fire first. So Matt, do you want to roll first? That's a 2. Very predictable. Here comes a 6. That's a 5. There we go. So on to turn 1 for the Forces of Chaos. Turn 1 movement for the Forces of Chaos. So down here there's 2 squads of cultists ran up the battlefield, not wanting to get in the way of explosive rounds pouring down on their position. Over here the Dark Apostle stumbling behind with the disciples, kind of just keeping out of the way slightly for now. This squad over here have currently got a 5-up invulnerable save thanks to the Dark Apostle. The 2 Chaos Rhinos didn't advance, so they are able to fire in a moment. Moving across the battlefield, very similar picture over here as well, as the Renegades have decided they're going to follow their Dark Masters into the abyss. So this squad down here is advanced, getting closer to this silo, so hopefully our arcs fire. This squad has just generally moved forward, so they can still fire normally. The heavy weapons up here, or the heavy weapon up here, has remained there. The squad down here has advanced, as well as the Ogrins and the Beast Handler over there. So that is all the Chaos stuff moving forwards. Now let's hope they can actually shoot and kill off a Marine or 2. Let's move into turn 1 shooting for Chaos. So we're going to start off shooting here with the command squad, firing off into the infiltrators in here. So we are having a -1 to hit, but these guys are hitting on a 3 rather than a 4, because these are the most experienced members of the Renegade force. So we're going to start off with a heavy bolter. We need 4s to hit, so we've got 2 there. We are then going to need 3s to wound. Oh, so we've got 1. Would you like to do an armour save, please, sir?
Yep.
-1. Oh, there we go. First blood. Right, and a plasma gun. Naturally, we're going to overcharge because life is short in the grimdark. So, a 4's to hit. Oh, lucky. Right, so if we wound, we wound. Would you like to save, please, sir?
I'd like to try.
Would you like to try?
Yes.
Ah, and he's saved. There we go. And finally, 1 auto gun. Oh, hit. Didn't wound, no, just skimmed off the armour there. So we've got 1 Marine so far. Well done, everybody. Let's see what else we can do. So next up here, we are firing 8 las guns and a grenade launcher up into this squad here. So normally they're hitting on 4s, however in this case they are going to be hitting on 5s. So we're going to fire off the 8 las guns first. Oh dear, 2 hit. We need 5s to wound. Nope, nothing. We're going to fire the grenade launcher, fire a cracked grenade. And no, that's nothing there. So that is all the Renegades have done. They've taken 1 Astartes out, which is a massive thing nonetheless. So let's see what the word bearers can do. So next up, we've got this Rhino over here on the flank. It's going to be firing up some shells, some combi bolt shells and a Havoc launcher into that building there, and hopefully knocking out some of the defenders. I very much doubt it though, but we'll give it a good go. So first up is going to come the combi bolter. So with this one we're hitting on 3s, and the occupants will get an increased save. So there we go, 3 hit. 1 armour save please, of a 2+. There we go, and Havoc launcher, 1 shot. That's all we need, that's all we need. No, nothing. And let's see if the remaining Rhino can do anything. Right, so over on the right here, the Plague Marines Rhino is going to be firing its combi bolter and Havocs into this tactical squad here. So with this one we're getting a -1 to hit, but we're Chaos Space Marines, so it's going to be nothing for us. So 4s, right, 1. 1 wound, 1 armour save please sir. It's 1 wound. Right, and now the Havoc launcher, 1 shot. Havoc launchers need a bit of a hit. Wounded, 1 armour save please. He's good. Oh, he's made it. Right, okay, so not the best shooting in the world, but the Renegades did alright. We're now moving into assault, so we're going to straight into turn 1 for the Ultramarines. Turn 1 movement for the Ultramarines. Chaplain has put the recitation of focus onto the intercessors there to increase their shooting capacity. Really in the movement phase nothing else happened. This squad moved further to the edge, taking their lives in their own hands, but really to put some explosive rounds down onto the poor militia down there. Ultramarines, being Ultramarines, have obviously planned for this and put themselves in the most optimal positions. So let's see if those optimal positions pay off for them. Moving into turn 1 shooting for Ultramarines. Right, turn 1 shooting for the Ultramarines. So it started off down here with this Devastator squad here. We had 2 las cannons fire off. This one obviously hitting on a 2, this one on a 3, fired off into this Rhino, and being on Devastator Doctrine, knocked down to 5 wounds. It's not particularly successful for the las cannons at this turn. The frag missiles fired off in the other direction into this squad of militia down here, lowering them down to 6 members, which isn't particularly great. The squad of infiltrators up here put some brutal bolter fire down into this squad here, taking that down to 6. Down here the intercessors fired again, as well as the tactical marines up there, both fired down into this squad of cultists, taking 12 casualties in total. Part of that was down to morale. We've done morale early, as we've got no assault. We've got another Devastator squad fired, las cannons coming down into this one, however not so good, and only taking 2 wounds off of there. Missile launchers then fired off, firing crack missiles over into the Plague Ogrins, killing one of those guys there. Intercessor fire went into the hounds there, killing one of the hounds. So Chaos have suffered light casualties at the moment. Ultramarines may be caught unaware by the sudden surge of Chaos forces. We're going to move into Chaos turn 2 now and see if we can narrow the gap a little bit further. Turn 2 movement for the forces of Chaos. So over here, the word bearers, the cultists, these guys now have a 5+ invulnerable save. I'm not sure how long that's going to kind of protect them for, however, but they are facing off against these bolter intercessors. So fingers crossed that's going to work out well for them. Over on the other side of the battlefield, these cultists have just generally moved up here with Dark Apostle in tow there, who has advanced. The two Chaos Rhinos are now surging through the middle there, ready to shake hands with the Renegades on the other side or plough them down. We don't really know what their intentions are at the moment. Down on this side, these cultists, the militia have just moved up here. They have not advanced. The squad down here, however, have advanced. They are slowly moving through there. There's no threats at the moment. They're out of line of sight, so they are just walking through. Soon they're going to encounter some Marines, but at the moment they're safe. This command squad up here have remained stationary. The heavy bolter that they once salvaged from the PDF is still working well, and they're probably going to plough some more rounds into this squad over here. In the centre, there's a squad of militia with a Renegade commander and two Plague Ogrins. They are coming through the centre. They can just see round the corner that the assault intercessors are waiting for them, and so the Plague Ogrins, possibly wisely, have just hang around the back of the militia for now. And finally, the hounds over on this flank are ready to pounce on the defenders there. So it's all about to happen in turn 2. Let's see if the Chaos Forces can push forward this slight advantage at the moment. Turn 2 shooting for the Forces of Chaos. So down here we had the cultists putting auto gunfire in, solid slug with heavy stubbers as well. Nothing with a -1 to hit behind that. However, the Rhino here fired its combi bolter and havoc launcher with 6 shots on the havoc, and knocked out one of the Primaris Marines there. It was also joined by this Rhino over here that did the same. And over here, auto pistols and 1 flamer shot up into this squad here, killing off one of the 1st gen Marines there. We had a bit more luck across here when the heavy bolter up here again repeated its good luck before, ploughing in here and destroying one of the infiltrators. They were joined by fire across the field from plasma pistols, grenade launchers, las guns and auto guns. Nothing. However, this squad here fired as well, and the grenade launcher here fired up, killing one more of the Primaris there. So, you know, we're doing quite well. That's 4 Primaris dead in one lot of shooting. So we're going to move into assault, and let's see if we can kill some more in combat. Right, okay, so we're going to do the charge now into these intercessors. Matt's kind of thought about it. There is a stratagem that other units can help. So we'll think about this Devastator squad. Unfortunately, not all of them can see the hounds down here. So we're just going to go with standard Overwatch into this squad here. Will it do anything? We'll find out. So let's see what Matt's Overwatch is like. Right, so rolling to hit against the hounds. Let's see what we get. Any 6s?
Not one.
Not one, oh dear. And let's see if we can make the fringe charge. Oh, thank goodness. That could have been awkward. Lovely. Alright, let's see what they can do in combat. Right, so we're going to start combat here over with the Packmaster. So when he charges in, he's actually got 4 attacks, strength 6. His Ripper Claw adds +1 to his strength, so strength 7. So Matt in his wisdom is using Transhuman just to reduce a bit of the damage coming in. So let's start with the Packmaster. So hitting on freeze, that's 2. Well, he's a reroll at this point. There we go, 3. There's 1. Okay, and then Transhuman's in place, so we're going to need 4s. So that's 2. So that would be 2 saves with a -2 modifier, please, Matt. Okay, no, and that's 2 damage apiece.
Yep.
2 dead. Then he has his little cattle prod, which is of many uses. So once again, he's sitting on freeze. So that's 3 hits there. He also has... Oh, sorry, it's only 3 dice. My bad, I'll do that again. So there we go. That's still 3. Strength is strength 6. However, transhuman, so 4s. So that's 2 more saves, please, with a -1. And these only 1 damage each. So 1 wound through there. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the hounds. So the hounds actually have 3 attacks each going in. So let's roll those. And they are hitting on freeze, which is quite handy to have. Okay, so there's a few misses here. It's not too bad though, in the grand scheme of things. So the hounds, once again, they'd actually be strength 6 on the charge, but due to transhuman, Lemon transhuman. We're moving on 4s. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a -1 AP again. So 5 saves, please. Right, oh dear, that's 3 wounds have gone through there, so that's 1 damage each. Okay. So in total, right, that's 3 Primaris dead?
4 dead, I think.
4, blimey. Right, okay, so let's move on, see what's next. Right, so at the end of the assault phase there, the sergeant fought back bravely, killing off one of the hounds in close proximity, and he's holding his own at the moment after morale. He's doing okay. Over here, however, didn't go so well for the cultists. The cultists charged the barricades, and 7 of them fell to the Primaris Marines, who just kind of killed them quite flippantly. Unfortunately, I did cast a prayer on them, but they've got to be within 6 inches. So because they were so zealous in their belief, they ran away from the Dark Apostle, who is all the way over here. But never mind, these things happen. Matt did put the prayer on these guys instead, but we've decided, I've decided, tough. I made a mistake, they're going to suffer for my mistakes. So I'm going to move into Ultramarines turn 2. Turn 2 movement for the Ultramarines, and Vox signals are all across the battlefield now. As casualties start to be reported, the 2 squads in the bastions remain stationary. However, everyone else is moving. So this squad of intercessors down here has fallen out of combat with the cultists there. Chaplain has put his aura onto these guys here on the battle round. Down here, the infiltrators have dropped down. They're here. They're ready to intercept the militia as they charge through the hidden passage. Over here, the intercessor, which was locked in combat, has now jumped over the barricade and charging on the other Ogrins and militia. The assault intercessors have now popped around here with a lieutenant, ready to put some bolter shells in there. And the tactical squad, which is on top of the building, has now dropped down to intercept these big squad of cultists here. So the Ultramarines are now kind of, I wouldn't say panicking, but they are putting in their planned counter-offensive. So let's move into turn 2 shooting for the Ultramarines. Turn 2 shooting for the Ultramarines, and yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. So these 2 las cannons, everything in this squad has been hitting on 2s, thanks to the chaplain down there. Fired off into these rhinos here. Awkward. 1 wound was taken off of here. Similar story for these ones up here. Nothing. These have just survived volley after volley of las cannon fire, which is really surprising because before the game I thought they'd be dead straight away. The missile launchers from this squad, we had a frag missile go off into here, killing off 1. We had another frag missile go off here and no casualties there whatsoever. Down here we had the 2 infiltrators firing off, killing a couple of the militia off in that squad. Bolt gun volley down here, bolt rifle volley went off into the cultist champion, and it's just like a red smear on these crates where he once stood. More crack missiles fired off down into the plague ogrins. 1 was taken apart, gore going everywhere. Bolts, bolt guns and all sorts of bolt weapons went off into the beast handler and his hounds, killing off another hound. Beast handler is losing his stuff now. He's lost too many of his hounds. And down here, the tactical squad fired off a volley of shots into the cultists, killing only a few, unfortunately. So we're going to move into assault. It's going to get pretty bloody once again, but the Ultramarines are holding the thin blue line against the forces of chaos. Let's see what they can do. End of turn 2 assault for the Ultramarines. So down here, these infiltrators burst through. They did take a wound to Overwatch as a frag grenade from a grenade launcher hit them, causing a bit of damage on there. Over here, the assault intercessors charged into the beast handler and his hounds, as well as the lieutenant. So the lieutenant fought first, killing off 2 of the hounds with his burning blade, and then the handler, enraged by this, decided to step in and kill the lieutenant, dealing 6 wounds in total. Across here, the Ultramarines charged in as well. killing off several of the cultists. The cultists fought back, dealing 1 wound back. In the morale phase, 2 cultists did die, even using Dark Apostle's leadership there. It wasn't enough, and that was it. So we're going to move in now to turn 3 for the Forces of Chaos. Turn 3 movement for the Forces of Chaos. So the Rhinos have now lost their passengers. Your squad of Chaos Marines are now holding the centre, kind of moving towards the Renegade part. The Renegades are meeting in the middle, possibly handshakes going on, or trinkets. I'm guessing the Heretic Astartes are probably just pushing the militia aside, or just ignoring them as they fire their bolt weapons, which will be going into these assault intercessors down there. Renegade Commander and his new best buddy, Plague Ogryn, are moving slowly towards the centre as well. Plague Ogryn there, just keeping the Renegade Commander alive. Possibly missing his fellow Ogryns. Down here, this squad is just pushing up, hoping to catch the infiltrators out. The command squad remains stationary up there, just putting some fire down into the Ultramarines. If we move across the battlefield, you'll then see the Plague Marines have also disembarked with the Exalted Champion. They've jumped the barricades and they're going to be putting some plasma fire down there potentially. The Dark Apostle and his disciples are coming up as well to fight off the Ultramarines. So it's going to be interesting. Let's now move into turn 3, shooting for the Forces of Chaos. Right, so far in turn 3 shooting, we've had a bit of success here. The Havoc launchers and combi bolters fired into the intercessors here, killing 1 off there. This squad of militia advanced. I have the grenade launcher also fired up here. Didn't do anything. We did lose 1 member of the Ultramarines from the command squad back here again, killing off their 3rd Astartes in as many turns. Fired off in there, killing off the sergeant in the squad. Down here, this squad fired off into these 2 down here, although they took cover and they're kind of like hiding and avoiding most of the fire. Over here, plasma guns and bolt guns from the Plague Marines fired in there. Matt wisely used transhuman on them. However, we did pop Vengeance for Monarchia. So for those who don't know, it's a word bearer stratagem against Ultramarines that you can reroll hits and wounds. So that kind of really helped out quite a bit, killing up a lot of that squad. So there's only 2 left. Combi bolter fired there. Auto pistols fired into these Ultramarines here, killing off 1. So the only thing we got left now are the bolt guns, plasma guns and auto guns in this squad, and they are already designated into that squad there. However, we've come up with a fun little rule here, where if I roll any 1s for the bolt guns and the other weapons firing across this militia squad, essentially the militia haven't ducked down and they will be hit by the bolter round or plasma round and probably minced at that range. So we're going to start off with the bolt guns into the assault intercessors. So we have got 3 bolt guns there, so there's 3 single shots going in. Any 1s, remember, will be shooting the friendlies in front of them. Okay, so 1 friendly has definitely been hit. We'll roll that in a minute. Against the assault intercessors, 1 wound. And he's fine. Against the it's hit him and minced. 1 militiaman has been destroyed. Auto cannon coming next. 2 hits. 1 wound. Okay, and I believe it's a -1 AP, so he's fine. And then the plasma gun firing. He's not going to overcharge because there's 1 guy there. Hit. And wounded. And there you go, so he's fallen there. So that relieves just a sergeant there, holding a barricade against the Chaos Forces. So we're going to move into turn 3 assault for the Forces of Chaos. Right, so going into turn 3 assault for the Forces of Chaos. What happened? Well, over here, the Renegade Militia attempted a charge through this into these 2. Unfortunately, that didn't go off, which I was kind of looking forward to because I think it's quite a nice cinematic moment here. These infiltrators like lurking in the shadows, just killing off renegades as they come through. Over here, however, a bit more success. The Dark Apostle charged in with the Disciples, killing off 2 of the Marines. The Sergeant fought back, killing off a couple of the cultists. The remaining cultists just mobbed him and brought him down, unfortunately. And over here, the Plague Marines made a charge into the Assault Intercessor Sergeant, and the champion of that squad with his Plague Sword got 4 hits through and killed him off. So not good for the Ultramarines this turn. But we are going into Ultramarines turn 3, and there's a lot of heavy weapons in high up positions and a lot of Marines and militia in the middle, so this could be brutal. We're going to move in now to turn 3 for the Ultramarines. Turn 3 movement for the Ultramarines. So it's now into a more of a defensive posture, even more so. So the Intercessors and the Chaplain have now occupied this bunker as well. The Devastator squad have moved around to put some fire down into the road there. This squad have maintained position. Essentially they've got, everywhere they look there is a traitor element. So they're quite happy where they are there. I suppose as happy as he could be. Down here, the infiltrators, the spec ops, have now popped through to face off against the renegade militia there as they kind of cornered them. They've launched out and decided to attack them instead. So that is the movement phase. Let's see what they can do in their shooting phase. So these infiltrators are going to fire their bolt pistols, the bolt weaponry, sorry, into the militia there. So 4 shots. Here they go. Okay, so that's 3 hits. Toughness 3, strength 4. So 3 gone through. No AP.
No AP.
So 6 up saves. There's 3 dead militia there. So that's half the squad have just been decimated by bolter rounds going in. Right, let's see what else they can get up to. Right, so next up, these Intercessors are putting their bolt rounds down into the Heretic Astartes, which are now kind of turned their back unknowingly on the Space Marines. So let's see what they can do. So that is 3 of them with 6 shots. Let's see if we get lots of hits here. Okay, that's not too bad. 4 shots. Force a wound. Oh, right. Okay, not great. And the AP on this is?
2. -2.
-2. Oh, there we go. Just about. Nice. Okay. And let's see what's going to come next with the Devastators. Right, so next up here we have the las cannons and missile launchers. This one, he's hitting on 2s. The rest are hitting on 3s thanks to the Chaplain's prayers earlier. So they're all firing into Heretic Astartes. It's going to be painful. Would you like to roll some dice, Matt?
Okay. First missile launcher on a 2.
Yep. Hits. Wounds on a 2. Oh, and a 5 up save. No. Okay, so 1 is kaput. And next we've got the other missile launcher.
On a 3.
Yep. Hit. Wounds on a 2. Yep. Saves on a 5. Nope. So that's another Chaos Space Marine dead. And then 2 las cannons.
2 hits.
Both hit. Both wounded. 2 6-ups. Unfortunately not. So that's 4 dead Chaos Space Marines. Ouch. Let's see what the others can do. Right, so at the end of turn 3 shooting for the Ultramarines, this squad kind of splits fire everywhere. So we had a missile launcher come down here, hit, wounded, and they passed their save. We had a las cannon, however, fire down into the Exalted Champion down there. Hit, wounded, and I used hexagrammic ward on there, so he has passed his save automatically. We then had the las cannon and missile launcher here fire down into the Chaos Space Marines, killing off another 2. So we've only got 4 left in that squad. They're going to have to get back into squad coherency, but yeah, not good for them. We can do a leadership in a moment, see if they've got through, but we're going to go into assault and see if the Ultramarines want to charge anywhere. Right, so in the assault phase, the sergeant of the infiltrators charged through with his battle brother. Unfortunately, we did Overwatch, and another frag grenade took out the remaining wound on his battle brother. He charged in, killing off another member of the militia. Militia fought back, didn't do anything, and then in the morale phase, Yeah, unfortunately they failed, and through attrition the other guy went as well. So they have now gone. We're just saying the infiltrators, they have done pretty well for themselves to a degree. He's wiped out 2 whole squads. So they're 65 points a squad, and he kind of got his points back and then a little bit. So there you go. And that was it for the assaults. We're going to move in now to turn 4 for the Forces of Chaos. Turn 4 movement for the Forces of Chaos. So we now have Renegade forces on this side of the battlefield. They've made it from their deployment over towards the Word Bearer's relief. Gordon, the Renegade commander, and his big bodyguard are still walking through at the moment. Probably going to pop off a couple of plasma pistol shots into the Bastions. This Chaos Space Marine squad have also kind of gone through the barricades. They're pretty much there now. The Rhinos are just parked up at the moment, trying to letting people pass beside them. Going to be firing havocs up into the Bastions, put a bit of suppressing fire down there. Over here, the other Renegade commander is now facing off against the Infiltrator Sergeant. Duel to the death there going on. Probably the Sergeant's going to win there. I think it's too much of a story for the Renegade commander to come off on top there after charging several of his squads into suicidal missions. Over on this side of the battlefield, the Plague Marines are now jumping the barricades, but they're also going to be putting some plasma fire up into this Bastion, hopefully taking a couple out. And the Dark Apostle with his entourage are moving through as well. So it's all going for chaos at the moment. We're going to move into turn 4 shooting for the Forces of Chaos. Right, so turn 4 shooting for the Forces of Chaos. This squad down here put shots up into this building, hoping to keep their heads down. However, not really much has happened. We've caused 1 wound on the missile launcher there. Fire was also poured in by the Rhinos and Commander Gordon down here. His plasma pistol did overcharge, however we did use reroll and it was fine, but it didn't wound. Down here, the Plague Marines had a bit more luck using Vengeance for Monarchia again. They fired their shots up here, killing off 2 of the Devastators. The Sergeant has fallen, as well as 1 of the missile launchers. The Cultists can't see anything down here. The Heavy Bolter from the Command Squad back here fired off again and hit, wounded, but he passed his save. He couldn't make it 4 for 4, unfortunately. But it's down here where the action's going to take place. As the Renegade Commander overcharges his plasma pistol against the Sergeant of the squad. Can he do it? So, we're hitting on a 3. We're overcharging. Oh, thank goodness for that. See if we wound. We wounded. See if he can save. No. Are you going to re-roll that?
No.
Okay, so he's fallen. He's fallen after being exhausted, killing 20 militia. The Renegade Commander just stepped in and got him at his weak point. Classic chaos. So, let's move into... We've got no assault, so we're going to move into turn 4 for the Ultramarines. Turn 4 for the Ultramarines here. This squad has remained stationary in the building. They're in optimal firing positions there, so they don't need to move. Everyone's in front of them. They can do what they want. Up here, however, the Devastators have realigned after taking a volley of plasma shots from down there. They are now dedicated to taking out those Plague Marines before it's too late. So, we're going to move straight into turn 4 shooting for the Ultramarines. Turn 4 shooting for the Ultramarines. So down here the Intercessors fired a volley of shots down into the militia, initially killing 4 off, 3 more then fell to attrition and leadership there. Down here the Devastators fired 1 weapon at each. Unfortunately, didn't do anything to those 4. Somehow the gods have blessed them as they've now crossed into the Holy Land. Down here, similar story. The heavy weapons up here fired down into the Plague Marines. Unfortunately, Plague Marines weren't so resilient, and 1 was taken out by a missile launcher, doing 6 damage. Ouch. So we're going to move in now to turn 5 for the Forces of Chaos. Turn 5 movement for the Forces of Chaos. So it's kind of really tipped now. The surviving Renegades, although there isn't many of them really, to be honest, some have remained within the Renegade Industrial Zone to defend and hold up their what they stand for. These two have advanced, getting further out. Gordon, the commander, and his bodyguard, the Plague Ogren, have also gone into the Word Bearer territory, heading towards the Chaos dropships. On the other side, we have the Rhinos have now pushed in towards the besieged area, full of supplies. The Chaos Space Marines are slowly keeping covering fire and putting fire up into this bastion. We have a Renegade commander, after finishing off the infiltrator, might try another plasma pistol shot up there. However, over here as well, similar story. The cultists are now moving into the besieged area. The Plague Marines are now in there as well, giving covering fire up into this bastion. Dark Apostle has put a prayer off to give these cultists a 5-up invuln, and the Exalted Champion is over there as well, urging them on. And finally, the only other thing to mention is the command squad still sat at the back there, still putting fire into the bastions for their Heretic Astartes overlords, for their benefit. So we're going to move in now to turn 5, shooting for the forces of chaos. Right, so end of turn 5 shooting, and to be fair, the end for chaos at this point. We had Havoc launchers and combi bolters firing off into the intercessors here. It's caused 1 wound on one of the Battle Brothers there. The Chaos Space Marines down here as well fired off into the Devastators. And didn't really do anything, unfortunately, just really kept their heads down. And the little Renegade commander down here fired off a plasma pistol, overcharged, and killed off one of the Devastators up there. However, over here, once again, these Plague Marines have done very well. Vengeance Monarchia again, overcharging the plasma guns. Fired up here, killed off 2 of the Devastators. Another bolt gun round came up, knocking a wound off. The Exalted Champion fired his combi bolter up as well. Took a wound off, so I would have killed this guy, and Matt had a reroll there to keep the las cannon in the game. Very wise decision. And that's it for the Forces of Chaos. We're going to move into the final turn now for the Ultramarines. Turn 5 movement for the Ultramarines. So up in this bastion, the Devastators and the Intercessors remain stationary. You can imagine empty bolt shells are everywhere. There's blood everywhere, casualties. The Chaplain has vaulted over the side of the bunker with his Crozius and is now going after this Renegade commander who thinks, this mere mortal thinks he can kill an Astartes, a loyal follower of the Emperor, and get away with it. So the Chaplain's got something else to say about that. Also in this building, the similar situation, the las cannon remains where he is, trying to pop off potentially some Heretic Astartes down there. Vengeance for Calth. Right, so we're going to move into turn 5 shooting for the Ultramarines. Right, so end of turn 5 shooting. It didn't go well for Matt, unfortunately. He's a bit sensitive about that. So the Devastators here. 1 las cannon fired off into the Plague Ogren, Gordon's loyal protector, and nothing happened there. The other las cannon fired off into the lead Rhino, possibly to knock it out, to prevent the other one moving forwards. Who knows? Unfortunately, 2 1s were happening there for shooting. Oh, awkward. Down here, however, 2 of the Intercessors fired off into the lead militia, popping their heads off at distance. The other one fired off into the Ogren and missed as well. This Ogren is protected by Nurgle. Down here, the Chaplain fired off his bolt pistol into the Renegade commander, and nothing, missed there as well. And finally, the lone Devastator up in this bastion fired off into that Rhino, and once again nothing. The Ultramarines, their guns are failing them now. The gods are here to protect his loyal sons. Right, so we're going to move into turn 5 assault, and this could be a thing. Right, so we're going into assault here. I am overwatching because, you know, it has to be done. So overcharging plasma pistol, here we go. Oh, run to win. I'm going to re-roll that, my final re-roll, and it wounded. Okay.
4 up invuln.
4 up invuln. Oh, 2 wounds. 2 wounds. How many wounds has your Chaplain got?
He has 5.
5. Okay, so there's 3 left. I can do this. Right, so do you want to roll your charge, Matt? I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed unless you roll double ones.
I tried.
Right, okay, so the Chaplain is in, and we'll come back in a minute with the rest of the assault. Right, so here we go. We are starting off with the Chaplain. This is the final fight of this game. Chaplain versus Renegade Commander. Here we go. How many attacks?
5 attacks.
5 attacks.
Hitting on 2s.
Hitting on 2s. Here we go. Oh no. 3 have gone through. 3 have hit. Now, toughness 3. So
Strength is 6.
Yep, so 2's to wound. Oh, 2, right, okay. And then we've got a refract field, so we need to save these. Otherwise we could get squishy. So 5 up. Oh, just about. Right, the Chaplain is on 3 wounds currently, isn't he?
Yes.
Right, so here we go. So we've got 3 attacks. We've got a power sword, so we're hitting on 3s. All hit. Oh my goodness, this could be amazing if it happens. We're strength 4, thanks to being a Covenant of Chaos. So 4's to wound. Ah, nothing. That could have been the story to end the game. However, it's not. So we'll come back very shortly with a close-up for this game. Right, so an interesting result here at the end of it. So just to run through the points here. So the Chaos Wordbearer forces have got units on this side, so they get 10 points. We've got Renegades and Heretics in this side, so that's 10 points. The Ultramarines have lost 5 different squads, so that is another 10 points there. So it puts the Chaos forces on 30 points. The Ultramarines are holding both bastions still, so that's 20 points there. They then have also killed off 5 squads, so they've got 30 points. It is a tie. It is a tie, so it's a very interesting end to the game. It's been very bloody. As I said, as for the narrative, the word bearers are now going through to resupply the besieged renegade forces. Some renegades, Gordon, the renegade commander, and his Ogrin have got through to supply intel to the word bearers and spread the word of the true gods. However, the Ultramarines have blunted the word bearer assault on the besieged forces to protect, to reinforce them, and have removed most of the elements of the renegades that are leaving. So a very interesting game. It has been lots of fun to play this. Matt, do you have a unit of the match?
I'm going to go with the Intercessor squad that's on that side, because they did about the most.
Yep.
Everything else, yeah, my last cannons couldn't hit a Rhino, but they can hit a Chaos Space Marine. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Intercessors.
Nice. For myself, it will actually be this heavy bolter at the back, because I kind of took it very flippantly when making this list. I kind of like the idea of one heavy weapon just like popping off shots, and to kill off 3 different Marines. He's definitely made his points back for that very cheap squad. But yes, very entertaining game. Once again, I thank Matt for coming down and playing. It's entertaining as always. And if you haven't already, give us a like and a subscribe. And this is Dom from Black Toad Studios. I'll see you next time. Take care.